Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are strapping in for a long trip. We're heading out into the vacuum of space, specifically the Arcadia system.
That's right.
We're going to unpack the critical reception for Obsidian's huge new RPG, The Outer Worlds 2.
And it's definitely a trip worth taking for anyone curious about this game. I mean, the initial scores look good, right? There's a solid 82 average on OpenCritic.
Yeah, I'm good on the surface.
But, you start digging into the actual reviews, the text, and you see it's really polarized. People seem quite divided.
Exactly. It seems folks either really love how refined and maybe even punishing the new RPG systems are, or they feel that the sequel's ambition, its bigger scope, kind of undermines the shark story stuff they expect from Obsidian.
And that's the core tension, isn't it? When Obsidian releases a new first-person RPG, well, Fallout, New Vegas is always kind of looming there in the background. Reviews are suggesting the sequel is more confident. It's definitely bigger, maybe even a bit meaner.
Yeah.
But the question for you, the listener, is, where does that ambition actually land?
Well, it lands you smack bang in the Arcadia system. And from the sounds of it, this place is fundamentally worse off than Halcyon was in the first game.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about the stakes here, because they sound pretty massive.
The stakes are, well, cosmic this time. You start out as an Earth Directorate agent, basically a space cop having a very, very bad day.
Right.
You crash land in this new colony, and it's actively falling apart. One thing that jumped out from the reviews was the intro starts with a smugly self-aware propaganda broadcast. Immediately tells you, okay, the satire's up, but maybe it's got more bite this time. Nastier.
That sets the tone perfectly. And the world itself, not just dysfunctional, like you said, but actually dying because of, bad tech?
Precisely. Arcadia is described as a fractured world. Someone said the sky looks like somebody punched reality in the face. It's unstable because the skip drive technology, the FTL travel, it went wrong. It's causing these cosmic rifts that are literally devouring the systems. It's a huge shift from the last game.
Right.
The problem isn't just like corporate greed anymore. It's existential.
Existential catastrophe,
right.
Okay? And into this mess, we get a new set of crazy totalitarian groups replacing the old corporate gods.
Yeah, the old gods felt tired, maybe worn out. These are newer, more active industrial gods, as one review put it. 3 main factions clashing.
Okay, who are they?
Right, and the descriptions really highlight the satire. First, the Protectorate. They're called militarized peace fetishists.
Oh, okay.
Basically an authoritarian, collectivist monarchy that demands quiet conformity. Think enforced tranquility.
Militarized peace fetishists. That's quite a label.
Then you've got Anti's Choice. This is described as a corporate cult of happy fascists.
Happy fascists?
Yeah, apparently born from a merger of 2 original corporations. They're all about forced smiles, mandatory happiness. Sounds like a terrifying mix of a pyramid scheme and, state-enforced joy.
A truly terrifying merger.
Got it. And the third?
The third group is the Order of the Ascendant. These are the scientific prophets who treat mathematics like a religion, the determinist nerds.
Ah, the math cult.
Exactly. They're obsessed with the idea that everything's predetermined, free will is basically an illusion, and you, the player, get dropped right into the middle of all their existential arguments.
Okay, all 3 sound like brilliant setups for satire, but reviewers are saying the tone of that satire has changed quite a bit.
Really?
Less silly, more cynical.
Yeah, it's definitely darker, drier. Critics are using words like melancholy. Someone put it really well. The first game laughed with you about corporate absurdity. This one, it laughs at you for still thinking that you can fix it.
Oof.
The satire feels sharper, less focused on just generic company bad tropes and more on fundamental human flaws, greed, selfishness, that sort of thing.
So if the game's constantly telling me through its satire that everything's kind of doomed, I can't really fix it, why should I even bother trying? What's the hook for the player? That's the million-dollar question, right? And Obsidian's answer seems to be, okay, maybe you can't fix the universe, but we're giving you exceptional control over your own path, your character's success, or, maybe more importantly, failure.
Ah, okay.
Which brings us to the core mechanics, because this is where the game is getting, frankly, huge praise for its depth and refinement.
Right, let's unpack this, because the character building sounds like it's had a major overhaul, really forcing specialization this time.
Totally. Traditional attributes, strength, intelligence, etc., gone.
Really? Okay.
You just focus points directly into 12 core skills, things like Engineering, science, speech, leadership. That part feels familiar, but the commitment level, it's way up. The level cap is 30, right?
Yeah.
But you only unlock 15 total perks across your entire playthrough.
15, that's it.
That's it. You absolutely cannot be a jack of all trades. You have to specialize.
Wow, okay. That puts real weight back onto every single skill point choice. And this commitment idea carried through to your background choice too, right?
It does. When you pick a background, maybe you're a hardened XMC, maybe a soft-spoken academic type, it doesn't just tweak your starting stats or dialogue. It unlocks entirely unique dialogue options later in the game. It's pure role-playing fuel. And Obsidian really cemented that commitment by, well, make a pretty bold move. They took out the respect button.
No respect.
Ah.
At all.
Yeah.
That is bold. What's the reaction been? Doesn't that punish players who maybe mess up their build or just want to experiment later in a, 40-hour game?
It's definitely divisive, but a lot of reviewers seem to respect it. They see it as Obsidian deliberately pushing back against that modern RPG trend of making everything reversible, consequence-free.
Okay.
They seem to want you to live with the choices you made, the character you built, imperfections and all. It's about embracing that unique, maybe slightly unoptimized build.
Warts and all, as you say. And speaking of warts, let's talk flaws. This system sounds like the real standout, the aha moment in the design, because it watches how you play, not just dialogue clicks.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
And yeah, often cruelly funny. The system actually monitors your behavior. Are you skipping dialogue constantly, using the same combat move over and over, stealing everything that isn't nailed down? And then it offers you a permanent negative flaw, but with a positive trade-off attached.
Okay, give us an example. How does that work in practice?
So let's say you're constantly skipping through conversations, just clicking through.
Guilty as charged sometimes.
Hey, well, the game might call you out on it. It offers you the permanent flaw, foot and mouth syndrome, the upside. You get a big bonus to XP gain.
Okay.
The downside. From now on, many dialogue choices will have a strict time limit. If you don't pick fast enough, the game might pick a rude or aggressive option for you.
Oh, that's amazing. Karmic justice for impatient players.
Totally. Or, another one, if you're a compulsive thief, always grabbing stuff,
Right.
the game might offer you kleptomania, the perk. You sell stolen goods for much more money.
Right.
The catch. Now, randomly, when you're in settlements, your character might just automatically try to steal something nearby.
Oh, no.
Yeah, risking getting caught, guards coming after you. It makes the game feel constantly reactive to you.
Is there any pushback on that? Does it feel, I don't know, manipulative or like a cheap way to farm XP by intentionally playing badly?
The consensus seems to lean heavily towards it being additive, actually. Because the flaws are triggered by your actual habits, reviewers felt they seemed personalized, earned, not just assigned.
Makes sense.
It seems perfect for players who love, build crafting sickos, the min-maxers. It forces really interesting, unexpected trade-offs that keep your character evolving.
Okay, so the character systems sound fantastic, really deep. But we have to talk about how that character actually interacts with the world minute to minute. Combat was, let's be honest, a bit weak in the first game.
Yeah, that was a common critique.
Did they manage to fix the gunplay, bring it up to snuff?
Huge leap forward, according to most reviews. Many are saying this is the single biggest improvement in the sequel. Combat feels much faster, it has more weight, and it feels less like an RPG wearing shooter cosplay.
Okay, that's encouraging.
Obsidian seems to have openly borrowed some good ideas from elsewhere. Games like Destiny and Halo get mentioned.
Really? What specifically feels better?
Well, the basic gunplay is just tighter, more responsive. Plus, they've added new movement options, sliding, double jumping. Feels much more fluid.
Nice.
The time dilation ability, the slow-mo thing, that's back too, but feels better integrated. And the weapons themselves sound really cool.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Well, there's mention of a two-handed hammer that you load shotgun shells into,
Okay.
and a Moonman machine gun that apparently levels up the more you use it. Plus, a really deep mod system for both weapons and armor.
And there's that one quality of life change that just sounds like pure, beautiful chaos.
Yeah.
No inventory limit.
0 weight limit. None whatsoever.
Oh, thank goodness.
Right.
Yeah.
It totally changes the gameplay loop. They're actively encouraging you to just loot everything, engage with the crafting and modding. It gets rid of a classic RPG headache. It's fantastic.
Okay, but the scope. The worlds are bigger, that's clear. But this is where the reviews get really split, isn't it? Where the polarization bites.
Yeah, this is a major point of contention, the sheer size of some of the environments. Some critics definitely felt the larger zones were, quote, too stretched for its own good,
Oh.
or that they contained open world bloat, those long sprints doing absolutely nothing.
Right. Empty space.
It can feel less exciting, maybe more like padding compared to the tighter zones of the first game.
So big, but potentially a bit empty between the interesting bits. That's kind of the opposite of what you want in an RPG sometimes.
That's certainly the argument from the critical side.
Yeah.
However, the positive spin, the counter-argument, is that the real strength lies in the curated, dense locations within those larger zones.
Okay.
The outposts, the towns, the labs. These apparently feel like super dense RPG Rubik's Cubes. In those places, exploration is almost always rewarded. New paths, hidden loot, deep side quests.
So it's a trade-off then. Maybe some boring travel, but high density when you arrive.
That seems to be the structure, yeah. You might have to trek a bit, but the destinations are packed.
And presumably the atmosphere helps sell it. That amazing visual style is back.
Oh, absolutely. That incredible retro futuristic art direction, the whole 50s Sears catalog meets NASA vibe.
Love it.
It's back and polished up significantly. Ray tracing apparently makes interiors and reflections look particularly great. But honestly, the audio might be the secret weapon here.
Oh, tell us about the audio. Reviewers made a specific point about the in-game radio, didn't they?
They did. The overall sound design is just quietly excellent. Sinister airlock sounds, creaking metal groans, really atmospheric. But the radio, that's where they scratch that classic Fallout itch.
How so?
You get these hilarious fake musical ditties, QVC-style corporate ads for Auntie's Choice, and just bizarre propaganda songs. It fits the sharp satire perfectly and makes the whole world feel inhabited and, well, completely insane. Really well done.
Okay, sounds great on the presentation front, but now we have to get into the main area of friction, the narrative, specifically the inconsistency. Reviewers seem to agree the opening chapter, Paradise Island, is amazing.
Yeah, spectacular seems to be the word. Really rewarding deep exploration, finding unexpected ways around problems like finding a hidden power line to bypass a locked area, sets really high expectations.
Right, expectations that maybe aren't met later on.
Unfortunately, that seems to be the consensus. Later side quests, even ones involving huge moral choices like potentially enabling war crimes against a whole faction,
Right.
might result in basically nothing. Maybe just a throwaway line or two of dialogue later on. The consequences just fizzle out.
So the impact of your big moral decisions kind of vanishes as the game progresses, which leads to that critique you mentioned earlier, the game having a fear of letting you be unhappy with your choices.
That's the heart of the narrative criticism, yeah.
Yeah.
It often feels like it plays it too safe. If you pick an ethical path that should logically penalize you somehow.
Right, like losing access to a vendor or a tool.
Exactly. The game often just immediately hands you another way to do the thing, or gives you a tool to completely remove the penalty you just incurred. It just mitigates the immediate consequence, which really drains the tension out of those choices.
Yeah, for a game built on player choice, especially from Obsidian, that sounds like a real letdown for fans wanting those gritty, lasting consequences.
Definitely.
And this safety factor, it seems to extend to the companions, too.
It does, to an extent. You get 6 companions, and they often act as mouthpieces for the main factions. Tristan the Judge, Dread-style cop, Ben's the entrepreneurial medic type. And in that role, as ideological sounding boards, they work pretty well for world building.
But the personal side falls short. The character development.
That's the trade-off. Actually, the way relationships build is praised by some. It happens naturally over time, based on lots of small, mundane interactions, not just big, dramatic milestone moments, which feels quite realistic.
Okay, that sounds good.
However, many reviewers still found the companions themselves a bit bland, maybe one note. And the potential conflict, the tension you'd expect. I mean, you're walking around with people who represent factions that should technically want to kill each other.
Yeah.
That tension is often described as mostly window dressing. It doesn't really flare up.
Right. I think one reviewer mentioned executing an enemy of a companion's faction right in front of them, and the companion just sort of shrugged.
Exactly. That kind of thing. The ideology is there on paper, but the personal, visceral reaction often seems missing.
And that lack of tension just reinforces that feeling of narrative safety, I guess. If even the companions don't seem to care that much about your big choices, why should you?
Precisely. It compounds the issue.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this all up. The Outer Worlds 2 seems to land as a really strong, very refined sequel in many ways. Obsidian's delivered like best-in-class character building, significantly improved combat, and that signature sharp satire is still there. But that bigger scope, the larger worlds, it seems to have occasionally cost it some of the narrative depth and the choice consistency that the first game, for all its flaws, managed better.
That sums up the general consensus pretty well, yeah.
Yeah.
And if we loop this back to that core conflict we talked about, it raises a really interesting question for you, the player.
Okay.
If the narrative itself sometimes shies away from delivering real consequences for your ethical choices, maybe Obsidian is ensuring the systems deliver consequences for your mechanical choices instead.
See where you're going. We see that with removing the respect option, right?
Exactly.
And forcing those permanent punishing flaws like septimania onto the player. It actively pushes you into a path of maybe discomfort, unoptimized choices, even if the main story sometimes feels a bit safe.
Right. So does that mechanical pressure taking away the escape hatch of respect, imposing these harsh flaws, does that actually become Obsidian's most effective tool for providing true, meaningful consequence in this game? Especially when the story sometimes pulls its punches.
That's a really interesting thought.
It's definitely something for you to mull over as you decide whether to jump into Arcadia, Commander.
Food for thought indeed. Good luck out there if you do.